Cha Cha Real Smooth,
Mm,
the new movie that dropped on Apple Plus this past weekend from it seems like a very talented
mhm,
director. With this is his second film, Cooper Raiff, who also stars in the film as Andrew. Um, Also stars Dakota Johnson. Leslie Mann is in it. I wouldn't say she stars in it, but she's in it.
mhm.
Evan Asante and Vanessa Berghardt kind of round out the cast as their young actors in this. And man, this movie is just a total delight. I thought I just
Mm,
had such a good time with this movie. It really hit every emotional point I think it was going for. And while I think like maybe certain aspects of it could have been a little bit tighter or a little bit more like thought through for this, like I wouldn't even say a rom com, just like a comedy drama type of thing. I think
yeah.
it's like coming of age thing. I think it's a really well told story. So I really enjoyed Cha Cha Real Smooth. What was your response to it?
Yeah, I also enjoyed it quite a bit. I actually haven't seen Cooper Raif's debut film from last year, Shithouse, but from what I understand, it's a similar kind of vibe where Raif's character again is kind of like an earnest, nice guy who's like going through it, and how he's interacting with his characters. It definitely feels like Rafe takes a lot of inspiration from like Richard Linklater movies, and in general seems to be a talent to watch, to pay attention to. He's now made two critically acclaimed features, and he's only 25 years old. Perhaps is he the first like Gen Z filmmaker of true note? He's one of the first anyway.
Yeah,
So
one
good
of the
good for
first for
him,
sure.
regardless. Yeah, it's kind of a rom com, but it's like a romantic coming of age movie.
Hmm.
I think for me, I liked it a lot for the performances, as well as I think just the overall earnestness is just really really nice to be with. And ultimately it's a very low stakes story, but
Hmm.
everything to me was really simpatico. Everything just made sense and felt believable. And yeah, can you pick out some of these beats and guess what's going to happen? Sure, it's not the most original thing I've ever seen, but I was just really entertained and really liked being uh, with these characters. And I think Dakota Johnson deserves a lot of plaudits for really elevating the Domino character. Not that far off from, I guess, what she did in The Lost Daughter recently, kind of a similar character. But uh, I think her ability to make a character kind of hard to pin down while giving this understated performance just really worked with, I think, the like honesty that Rafe seems to imbue in his character. So yeah, I liked it a lot.
I thought it was really smart that the movie starts off with Andrew as this 12, 13 year old boy at this bar mitzvah who has this crush on the party person there, the party leader there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just totally like devastating to see this little kid like put themselves out there and get rejected and see that response. Like it immediately like sucked me in emotionally to the movie and kind of like it gives you an insight into like the outgoingness and like the bravery of this character because put himself out there as he does throughout the film, I think takes a lot of courage and a lot of risk taking. But you also kind of recognize that he's like this sweet person at the center, and I think that sweetness, like you kind of identified when you were summing up your response to it, is really like what drives the movie forward. Is there's this like gentleness and this real fondness for all the characters and their like traumatic experiences and things that have shaped them. And I think obviously Domino is the character that is I think most like playing in the sandbox with that sort of thing, like the traumas that shape them and how those things kind of guide the decisions they make and the choices that they're more inclined to stick with, even if it doesn't always feel as satisfying as other decisions. And maybe we'll get more into the spoileriness of it, but it just all feels like very real, and I really appreciated that. Like that choice between do I go for like this lust or do I go for something more real, something that's a little bit more stable, kind of accepting like the stages of life and what that means. A lot of like really interesting ideas raised, and it all felt very very grounded in reality for me. So I really enjoyed that. What like themes of the film did you find yourself resonating most with?
Yeah, I think for me, again, like the earnestness that is so like kind of central to the character, Rafe's character, just really I think just kind of wins you over, and the movie does a really nice job with how all these bar mitzvah bat mitzvah scenes. They're
Yeah.
kind of awesome set pieces, and like it's not like we're about to see crazy action. We're not, but
Mhm.
they just really like punch up the film, and then kind of like liven it back up, and then we just kind of see things unfold. I think it sets up these conversations between the characters where you can get like really personal and really just kind of really advancing, I guess, like the emotional plot in these conversations, but like you're bookending it with these like more, I think, enjoyable, easy to follow bar mitzvah scenes where I think it just all really works out, and Leslie Mann, like you said, not in the movie a whole lot, but I think does a plays an important role as this like bipolar mother character
Mhm.
and how that impacts everything. I think the Andrew character is just kind of interesting to me because, like, on one hand, he's like a very unremarkable guy, not exactly like anyone to write home about. He graduated with nothing going on, so
Mhm.
it's like, why should I care about this guy who's clearly does not have himself figured out? And then
Yeah.
you kind of watch him figure himself out in a very roundabout fashion.
Yeah. No, I think the Andrew character is really smartly written, and I just the way that his character really like learns and grows, but like not in like some linear way. It's very like herky jerky up and down throughout the movie. Is really probably my favorite part of it, and I think that's demonstrated really well with stepdad Greg, played by Brad Garrett. Who's kind of this punching bag for Andrew, and I think it makes a lot of sense. It's the partner that his mother has come to later on in life after a divorce from his father, his biological father. It's not really talked about what happened with Leslie Mann's Lisa and the father you see at the beginning, but it's kind of, I think, insinuated that he was like at least mean or potentially like physically abusive towards her.
Mm,
So there's, I think, going to be this like animosity, but as Andrew starts to figure things out and think about like what he's standing up for, what feels right for him, the things that he's like fighting for in his life, he starts to understand Greg more and appreciate the role that he plays for his mother, and comes to kind of understand like what it means to maybe not be with somebody who you think is like the coolest person in the world, or that you think is like the most amazing person, but provides something that you really feel like you need, or something that you're looking for, something that you've wanted to have. And so I
mm,
think like his that like journey he goes on with each character, kind of understanding like their needs and how to be there for them. And obviously that's kind of demonstrated directly with Domino and Lola, but you start to see him kind of figure that out with his brother more as the movie goes on. You start to see him figure it out with stepdad Greg and his mom. It's really just like it comes full circle so well. It's really smartly written, I feel like.
yeah, yeah, I agree. I think it's cool to see a character who's like so able to people please when he gets kind of like bursts through into this party starter job all of a sudden,
Hmm.
but still finding a way to please himself as
Hmm.
well. It's kind of the obvious paradigm that you would see in the story, but I think it works out. And the kid performances
Yeah.
are good as well. I think the Lola
Hmm.
just really hits all her notes.
Yeah.
As Domino's daughter with autism, and then also Andrew's younger brother as well,
David. Yeah.
David. Same
Yeah.
thing. Like they both fit the story just the way they need to.
Yeah, and David's friend Rodrigo is
Yeah,
like such good comic relief, like wanting to kick that kid's ass.
right.
I feel like that's really great. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's much more to say about this movie. I just really loved it. It's on Apple Plus. If you have Apple TV Plus, please check it out. It's
Yeah,
really, really wonderful, and it feels like Cooper Rafe is a person we'll be talking about in this realm for quite a while.
yeah. I'm
So
I'm sure about that. And Dakota Johnson as well. Seemingly,
Yeah.
putting in work lately, which is nice to see for sure.
Ever
Um,
since she took down Ellen, she's just catching W's, dude. It's
for
great.
sure. Yeah. This was out of Sundance. Apple bought this for 15 million. I believe that was the biggest sale of Sundance this year. Don't necessarily think they're going to push this the way they pushed Coda last year. I don't know if we're heading to Oscar glory here, but um, yeah, definitely Cooper Rafe, someone to watch.
Yeah, worthy addition to their catalog.